Good afternoon and welcome to Midcap Radar, live from the CNBC-TV18 Motilal Oswal studio. I'm Bamakshi Doria and with me is Vivek Iyer. Well, a very good afternoon to you, Vivek. The markets for today are taking a bit of a breather. We are seeing some selling pressure emerge at higher levels.
That's right. Good afternoon, Bamakshi. Like you mentioned, markets are seeing selling pressure at higher levels. In the broader end of the markets, the mid-cap and small-cap space, the market breadth has weakened considerably, especially in the last half hour of trade. But we have a lot lined up on the show, so let's start off with the top headlines. Market drags to the day's lowest point as the escalation of the conflict between Israel and Iran keeps stocks skittish, even as there is no disruption in trade so far. Mid-caps also fall in sync with other key indices. Only IT manages to hold on to gains.
US President Donald Trump bid G7 leaders an earlier due to head home as tensions between Israel and Iran escalated. Earlier, Trump had asked people to vacate Tehran, sparking reports of likely US intervention.
Sterlite Technologies shares gains 50% in 5 sessions on the back of recently signed 2,631 crore agreement with BSNL. The management tells CNBC-TV18 that they will supply optical fiber cables and connectivity solutions for this project, which accounts for 5 to 10% of capex. They also expect margins to be 18 to 20% by the end of the year.
Promoters of Vishal Mega Mart offload a hefty near 20% stake via block deals for about 9,900 crores, bringing their stake down to near 55%. Private investors and promoters Kedara and partners PE rake in the moolah. Z Entertainment has also proposed the issue of near 17 crore warrants to promoters at a price of 132 rupees per share. The warrants, once converted within 18 months, will up the promoter stake to over 18% from 4% now.
Schneider Electric Infra gains after Goldman Sachs double upgrades the stock to a buy from a sell rating, with the target price of 910 rupees a share, with a growing total addressable market and government support expected to be key growth drivers.
Well, 24,850 thereabouts is where the Nifty is at, close to 100-point fall as far as the main benchmark indices are concerned. But when you look at the mid-cap end of the market, that too is, is down in trade, down nearly 0.4% in tandem with what the benchmark indices are doing. The broader markets, when you look at the advanced decline ratio, that is largely in favor of the advances. As far as some sectoral indices are concerned, most of them are trading in the red. The losses are being led by the Pharma index, which is under significant pressure, down almost 1.5% now. The leading the fall is actually granules. We spoke to the management a couple of minutes ago. Nifty Metal Pack also not doing too well in trade today, down almost 1.23%. The fall being led by Hindustan Zinc as well as Hindustan Copper. The Nifty IT index, though, holding in the green. But lots of stock-specific action in today's trading session. And to take us through that, we now have Hormaz in our special segment, Mid-Cap Movers, to take us through that list. Good afternoon, Hormaz.
Good afternoon, Bamakshi. Around the same time yesterday, we were talking about the advanced decline line converging towards the advances, but unfortunately that does not appear to be the case today. We'll start off with the losers then in the broader markets, and you can see that gap now widening, and Shipping Corporation of India has nearly given up all the gains that it saw over the last couple of days due to the West Asia crisis, 7% lower, as has Jubilant Ingravia, another 6% down after being lower yesterday as well. Reliance Power is in a lower circuit, and Hindustan Zinc recently announced a capex plan just a few minutes earlier, that too at the lowest point of the day, 4% lower on that stock. Now, some of the other movers in today's session and the brokerage impact, Happiest Minds is up 10% now as an Anand Rathi initiation coming in earlier in the day. Naveen Fluorine after another positive brokerage note coming in today, and IGI, it's an initiation with a reduced recommendation, so it's 4% lower, and MGL among the top brokerage picks from Nomura today, 2.5% higher on that stock as well. Pharma and metals are two pockets that are not doing well today, and that's showing up as well. All of these stocks at the lowest point of the day. Divi's, Hindustan Copper, we just spoke of Hindustan Zinc. Look at NMDC, look at Laurus Labs, all the stocks in the metals index trading lower in today's trading session. Stocks that are doing well on the volumes front, Vishal Mega Mart, look at the recovery that the stock has seen, 3.5% lower after that huge block deal that took place earlier in the day. Supreme Industries is up at the highest point of the day on strong volumes, but Tanda Platforms has given up most of its gains at still 3% higher on strong volumes. And lastly, stocks that are bucking the trend otherwise as well. CRISIL is up 5% after a 2-day sell-off. MMTC is in an upper circuit. IKS, another recent listing, 5% higher. And Hitachi Energy, a potential MSCI inclusion in August, is now 5% higher at the highest point of the day. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Hormaz, for joining us, giving us a sense of what exactly is transpiring, the market breadth, the broader end of the markets. Well, a couple of stocks on the radar, a bit of recovery that's been seen, especially in the last 10 minutes. AB Capital, one stock from the NBFC space, is doing quite well. And names like Tech Mahindra from the IT pack, that's another stock that's doing quite well. But it's a good time to welcome Rajesh Palvia from Axis Securities for a quick technical check on the market. Good afternoon, Rajesh. Thank you so much for joining us. What are you making of the markets at current levels? Are you witnessing exhaustion for the Nifty, especially near the 24,900 mark?
Good afternoon. So again, Nifty is witnessing supply pressure at the major call concentration area of 25,000, 24,900. That's the major call concentration area for the Nifty for near-term perspective. So the once Nifty crosses about 25,000 level, then we may see some short covering action. But till the time it is not able to cross, I think some consolidation is likely to be there in Nifty. On the downside, 24,700 is the immediate support area for Nifty on the downside. As Nifty as well as Bank Nifty both are, now hovering near to 20-day moving average support area. So 24,800 to 24,700 is the key level to watch for in the decline. Volatility is likely to be there as geopolitical tension is still there. So I think market is likely to remain in the volatile manner only. Bank Nifty is facing supply pressure at 55,800 to 56,000 zone, which is a major call concentration area. So I think till Bank Nifty not crosses above 56,000 level, here also we may see some consolidation in range of 55,400 on the downside and 56,000 on the higher side. So range bound activity is likely to be there for both the indices for next couple of days, and either side breakout or breakdown will decide the major direction. But looking at the broader market, looking at the buying interest at lower level is giving us sign that there is a possibility that we may see a breakout on the higher side. But yes, after consolidation of next 2-3 days.
Hi Rajesh, thank you so much for your views. So over the last couple of trading sessions, this is what we've seen is, there has been a buy on dips, over the last couple of weeks at least. So in such a situation wherein, today we're down almost 100 points for the benchmark index, what would be some of your top stock recommendations?
I think IT is the sector where, a sustained buying action is taking place. So I think from IT space, LTIMindtree is looking promising. The way stock is moving on the weekly as well as on the daily chart, we believe that, this stock has potential to continue further more upside. We are projecting target towards 5,600 to 5,650 for LTIMindtree. One can buy and accumulate this stock with stop loss of 54.60. Another stock where we are focusing is Voltas. After a consolidation of almost 7-8 weeks in very narrow price range now, stock managed to give breakout of this consolidation range. Looking at the breakout, we believe that Voltas can extend its gain. 1360 to 1370 would be the next target. One can buy and accumulate with stop loss of 1295.
Thank you so much, Rajesh, for joining us, giving us a sense and your view as far as markets are concerned, as well as the individual trading calls. Well, it's a good time to slip into a short break. We'll get you more on the markets and stock-specific action on the other side. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. You're watching Midcap Radar on CNBC-TV18. Let's put the spotlight on Navin Fluorine. The stock is bucking a trend after a brokerage note that has come in from Jefferies. And to understand just that, we now have Ria joining us. Ria, tell us why.
Well, yes, Navin Fluorine has been trading higher in today's session, and this is on the back of a note from Jefferies. They have a buy call on the stock with a target price of rupees 5,280. What they've said is that the company is well positioned to monetize rupees 2,000 crores worth of capex commissioned by the company in the past 3 years by entering into long-term contracts. And they've also said that this going ahead should improve asset turns and drive a 35% EPS CAGR over FY25 to FY27. Another thing they've highlighted is that a pipeline of new contracts in the specialty chemical, CDMO and HPP segments should fructify in FY26 and should also provide growth visibility FY28 onwards. And despite the recent run-up that we've seen in the stock has underperformed the Nifty by around 23% since January of 2023. So overall positive view on Navin Fluorine from Jefferies. Yesterday, in fact, Morgan Stanley had also come out with a note on the company. They had upgraded it to an equal weight rating with a target price of rupees 4,160. They've also raised the multiple on the company's contract manufacturing and high performance segment to 25 times from the earlier 20 to 22 times to reflect on the company's commendable delivery in improving operations and margin profiles and also building order books. So on the back of these positive notes, the stock is up around 3 to 4% today.
Thank you so much, Ria, for joining us, telling us exactly why Navin Fluorine is in focus. The stock's doing quite well last couple of days. You've seen a whole slew of brokerages right on the prospects of the company. But moving on, Tanla Platforms is another stock that's gaining today. This on the back of a board approval for a buyback. Now, Winnie joins in with more details on this particular buyback.
Hi, Vivek. Afternoon. So in terms of the board approval that's coming, it's for 175 crore rupees is what the buyback will be happening. 20 lakh shares, price is 875 rupees. That's around 1.5% of the total capital that is there, paid up capital, equity capital that is there for the company. Now, obviously, 875 is the buyback price. The stock yesterday was trading around somewhere at 675. So that is why we are seeing the run-up coming in. The buyback price is higher than the yesterday's closing price as well. So stock is buzzing in trade. The cash on the books that they had was around 1,000 crore rupees at the end of FY25. And the last time they'd done a buyback was somewhere around in 2022, 2023, December 22 and beginning of Jan 23. That was also around 170 crores and that was at a price of 1,200 rupees per share. So on the back of this, Tanla Platforms is buzzing in trade.
Thank you so much, Vinny, for joining us, telling us about Tanla Platforms. But Vamakshi, you've been tracking Siemens, right? And an important order win coming in. Give us more details.
Well, absolutely, Vivek. The stock is surging in trade today. Last time I checked, Siemens was up almost 2%. Of course, it has cooled down, up 1.5% now. But, the consortium, which included Siemens, has been awarded a contract. This is from National High Speed Rail Corporation Limited. The order is valued at 4,100 odd crores, out of which Siemens Limited share stands at 1,230 crores. And this project is actually for the Mumbai-Ahmedabad bullet train project. Now, keep in mind that the contract win was largely known. And I say this because the consortium was declared as an L1 bidder a month ago. LOA was also received a week ago. There were some reports going around on that as well. But it has been declared on exchanges now, which is why we're seeing that up move. Now, the scope of work for Siemens includes providing design, installation, as well as long-term maintenance of advanced signaling as well as telecommunications tech. The project will be executed over a period of 54 months and Siemens will be providing nearly 15 years of maintenance services. So given the kind of contract that has come Siemens' way, it's a big one. 1,230 crores. So certainly the stock is up and away in trade today. But on to a CNBC-TV18 exclusive, then we have Yash joining in with the latest. He is speaking on the decision on expiry days for exchanges. Yash?
Well, there has been a lot of discussions which have happened on which exchange is likely to get Tuesday and which exchange is likely to get Thursday as its weekly expiry date. What we've been given to understand, though, is that SEBI is likely to come out with final regulations on allotting expiry days out of Tuesday and Thursday to NSE and BSE. Today itself, what we've been told is that a decision is likely to have been made at market regulator's desk in terms of which exchange will get what date as its weekly expiry. In April, CNBC-TV18 had reported that NSE had applied for Tuesday as its expiry day. The regulator was at that point in the process of considering NSE's request on whether to grant Tuesday to NSE or not as far as its expiry day is concerned. That very crucial decision for the exchanges is likely to have been made, and the final regulation specifying the details of which is expected today itself.
Well, thank you so much, Yash, for joining us. So today, the entire speculation on which exchange gets which expiry day should be put to rest. Vamakshi, you've also been tracking this for a while. You have something to add?
Well, absolutely, Vivek. You know, BSE after this news flow has actually tanked because the fear was that maybe if NSE changes its expiry day from Thursday to Tuesday, the sort of volume market share that BSE had been gaining could come under pressure. But in fact, you know, there was a note that came in from Jeffries yesterday as well, which said that probably the volumes may not decline for BSE and the market share may not decline. But let's slip into a very short break. Up next, we get you more on the markets and stock-specific action on the other side. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Mid-Cap Radar. Well, markets continue to be quite volatile. The auto pack seeing a bit of a bounce back, names like Hero as well as Bajaj Auto seeing a bit of a bounce back from intraday lows. But one stock that's under significant pressure today is Vishal Mega Mart. Now, late last evening, we received the term sheet for a likely block deal which was going to be in excess of 5,500 crore, indicating that there could be 10% of equity that could exchange hands. But today morning, given the kind of demand that the banking community saw, the investment banking community saw, they went ahead and decided to upsize this particular block deal to close to 20% of the total equity, a little over 19.5% to be precise, indicating that almost 10,000 crore worth of shares exchanged hands today. Who was the seller? As per the term sheet we managed to access last evening, the seller is none other than the promoter entity. Remember, the promoter entity over here is actually an investment vehicle of both Kedara Capital as well as the Partners Group. At the end of FY25, they held a little over 74.5% stake, indicating that after today's block deal, they'll continue to hold over 54% stake. And the key question, Vamakshi, would be, what is it that they intend to do with the over 54% stake? Remember, the promoter entity here is actually a clutch of PE investors, and they sold via the OFS route through the IPO. And again, as soon as the lock-in ended, they've gone ahead and offloaded a significant chunk in today's block deal.
Sure, Vivek. I think that really explains why the stock is down and out in trade, down almost 2.5%, although it has seen a fair bit of recovery from the day's lowest point then. But on the flip side, when we look at stocks like Z Entertainment, the promoter is actually infusing funds in there. So that's seeing an uptick. So just some contrasting moves out there. But, on that note, that's all we have on this edition of Midcap Radar. Don't go anywhere because MF Corner when we return.